we want to look at model of labor supply and demand versus the WSPS model. Now, the model of labor demand and labor supply assumes perfectly competitive labor and goods market where wages and prices are taken as given by individual firms and workers. We have a labor supply curve, which is derived from workers maximizing utility with respect to hours worked, and we have a labor demand curve derived from firms maximizing profits with respect to employment. Now, like we said, the model of labor demand and labor supply assumes perfectly competitive labor and goods market. Now, what happens when we relax the assumptions of perfectly competitive markets? That brings us to our WSPS model. WSPS model incorporates non-competitive labor and product markets, which are characterized by market power, price and wage setting, collective bargaining, labor unions, minimum wage legislations, and so forth. In the WSPS model, neither the labor nor the firms are price takers. In fact, wages are set through the process of collective bargaining. And once wages are set, the firms set a price above the wages rather than simply being price takers. In the WSPS model, we replace the labor supply curve with what we call the wage setting curve. And the context of the wage setting curve is one of wage setting through collective bargaining by workers and unions, and not competitive labor markets as we assume in labor supply theory. We replace the labor demand curve with the price setting curve, which reflects the price setting behavior of firms in non-competitive product markets rather than competitive product markets where firms are price takers, as we assume in labor demand theory. So, in the WSPS model, we will think of labor and product markets as being imperfectly competitive. The model of labor demand and supply assumes perfectly competitive labor and product markets where firms and workers take wages and prices as given. But the WSPS model allows some market imperfections such as market power, collective bargaining, trade union, price and wage setting, and so on.